Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I want to welcome my new subscribers and a special shout out to my 38 subscribers on Rumble. I don't mention you nearly enough. Thanks for subscribing. To everybody new, if you came here seeking a vein of salt, I do criticize wargaming from time to time. I will link a criticism video in this video for you to watch. But really, this is just going to be me disappointed. So we're here in the Cossack 38. The video I'm going to be linking, the title is some of the effect of "The ship was so terrible, Wargaming made another one." Actually, this is one of the worst ships in the game. So Wargaming made another one. It is a match in the Cossack explaining how terrible it is and decrying that Wargaming introduced the Cossack 38 instead of just making it a hull upgrade or downgrade or introducing the ship as the HMS Haida at a higher tier, maybe a little bit more capable. So when we talk about the Cossack 38 as compared to the regular Cossack, both aren't very good ships. They're gunboats or middle-of-the-road destroyers that lean gunboat. Obviously, with a ship that has 4 turrets and 8 gun barrels, you're going to say, hey, that's a gunboat. You lose the sonar, you get another turret back that the original Cossack lost. The original Cossack also has a secondary gun, I think, and allegedly some improved AA. This ship is how it probably should have came to the game in the first place, and there never should have been the other Cossack. But because Wargaming is dumb and they're just trying to take your money, that's how both of these ships are at tier 6 for the Royal Navy. Now, I didn't pay for this ship. In theory, I bought a crate. I got it out of a crate. So it's a gunboat. Here's an Icarus. We're going to punish the Icarus down tier Royal Navy destroyer. We've got 8 turrets on target. And despite whatever you might think about either Cossack, they are pretty good gunboats. They've got pretty good turret traverse. They've got an okay reload. And you've got 8 gun barrels here to put at the enemy ship. So all things considered, it is not a terrible ship at gunboating. The caveat I'll give to all of you is that I never have high damage games in the Cossack, either version. I'll finish at the top of the board. I'll have between 2,000, 2,500 base XP, but the actual damage done will be only between 30 or 40,000 damage because the Cossack has a problem. And the problem is that the best way to get damage in a destroyer is by torpedoes. And the Cossack doesn't have a lot of torpedoes on tap. So therefore, you're kind of left looking at, hey, how good are your torpedo strikes? How quick can you get the torpedo reload down to? And that kind of thing. Because you can't farm damage from everybody. You only have a couple of smoke screens. All right, so we launched some torpedoes or dodged some. We are shooting at the Icarus. The Icarus literally has no chance. We're going to get close enough to where the smoke screen doesn't matter, and that's what I advise you to do if you're attacking a ship in the Cossack 38 and it goes into a smoke screen. Because you don't have sonar, you've just got to close the distance, get to the guaranteed detectability. That's what we did. The Icarus didn't really have a chance. It didn't do a ton of damage. It did some damage, not a ton of damage. And so now we're going to go in and get a base cap. And you've got to do all of the little things in these destroyers. I'm going to link the other video. You're going to hear me say all this stuff earlier in an earlier game. I'm going to say you've got to do all the little things. You got to cap bases. You got to defend the cap. You got to shoot torps when you can. There we take a bunch of damage from the New Mexico. And here we don't have a smoke screen. So I'm just trying to get out of the guaranteed detectability, which we do. So you've got to manage that. Obviously, if I had known where that ship was, I would have avoided getting within detectability. All right, torps on target. We're going to get 1, 2, 3 torpedo strikes. I think he's going to stop the flooding. And so this is where you're reliant on good torpedo damage and all the other little things, the capping bases, the resetting the caps, because you can't just go out there and spam torpedoes all day long. And even if you do, they don't do a ton of damage. All right. So it's very tempting to shoot right now, but I got to cap the space out. Don't have a lot of health left. You already shot at me once. So I think about that kill pinch. We're not going to do it. And there is the solo base cap. All right. While we maneuver around, I'm going to go here into WoW's Builds Legends, which I go to from time to time. The base damage record, 176,301. Holy shnikes. And it beat the previous record by over 50,000 damage. And the base XP record, different player, 3695. So that is shocking that it's that high and unbelievable. But it was within the last month. Maybe he had a bunch of new players sailing around in their Ohios and he was just dropping torps on them every single chance he got. I don't know. So great game to that guy. We're not going to come anywhere close to that because I never do in these kind of ships. All right. Really quickly, Cossack Tribal Class Destroyer. It was laid down in 1936 and it was modified. In 1940, they replaced the X mount with 202 millimeter dual purpose guns and a twin gun mount. All right, so that is how you got from the ship on your screen to the Cossack that I have in my port and don't use very often. And I'm sure that most of you who have the Cossack don't use very often either. It's like I said, it's a good gunboat. I don't have any criticisms of it as a gunboat. My criticisms of it are more about you've got 4 torpedoes at a time. It's hard to rack up damage with only a couple of smoke screens. Now, if it had the 6 or so smoke screens that a lot of the other Royal Navy destroyers had on tap, then maybe it'd be a little easier to get a little more HE spam damage. I really would love to see a replay of that 176,000 damage game to see exactly what that entailed. A lot of times I find that games like that, it's like a perfect storm of every enemy's broadside, every torpedo hits, you're farming damage from somebody who's being engaged by somebody else, so they don't turn the turrets to you. So you've really got to have all those things play out in your favor, in my opinion, to have a high damage game in this ship or its sister ship, the twin ship, the ship after the modifications that we just talked about. I mean, who knows? So while I am not disappointed that I got a free ship, I prefer the other Cossack because it has sonar. It's better at hunting. This ship is like a Leone. And to be quite honest, I don't have any problems getting damage on the Leone. My best Leone game is better than my best Paolo Emilio game in terms of damage. All right, so we got 1 kill. We killed the other destroyer. We are on our way to, or we already got our second solo base cap. So essentially, we've done our job. We killed the enemy destroyer. We capped a couple of bases. The other base is far, far away. So right now, I'm just waiting for this destroyer to come out here so I can kill him. All right, there he is. It's a Benson. He doesn't have any health left. I'm imagining it'll take 1 or 2 salvos. It just takes 1. He does damage me a little bit, and that's fine. We're spotted. And so I'm going to go bow on to the California and hope I can hazard his salvo. Yes, I have a smoke screen. Maybe if I was smart, I wouldn't have gone anywhere and I would have just hit my smoke screen. But I didn't do that. And as predicted, we end up with under 40,000 damage. But 2 kills, 2 solo base caps here in the Cossack 38. All right, while we're waiting for the rest of the match to end, I am going to go back to WoW's builds and do a peer comparison. And I've just got to change one stat here. All right, now we've got that changed out. And let's do the stat comparison as my ship sinks to the bottom of the ocean. All right, we're looking at tier 6 destroyers. There are probably 40 of them. So we're going to do the best we can. Hit points, Z 31, 39, 35. Z31 is number one, 23,300. Cossack 38, in the middle of the pack, 14,800. Wow, that is a significant difference. All right, main battery reload. The quickest is Oland at 2.5 seconds. And middle of the pack, Cossack 38, 5 seconds. Max speed, number one is Le Terrible, 43 knots. Also Leningrad and Minsk. No shocker there. Cossack 38, 36 knots. Again, middle of the pack. Concealment, Azagio B, Acerland Yukazi, 6.3 base. And scrolling, 6.8 for the Cossack. A little bit better than average there. And finally, HE DPM, number one is the Benson, 190,000. Cossack 38 is number two, tied with the Oland at 163,200 damage per minute with your HE. So that is your stat comparison here at tier 6. All right, so we are just waiting for this match to end. Frankly, I'm just going to cut it here and go to the end. And I'll see you there in the port. All right, everybody, here we are on the victory screen. 39,829 total damage. 2 kills, 2 solo base caps, some cap defended flags. We ended up with 455,162 silver and over 7,000 ship XP and commander XP in the Cossack 38. So damage numbers aren't great. I think the rest of the numbers are pretty good. You know, I have a guideline that 2,500 base XP is a good game. We got 2,600 base XP. 2 kills were top of the board for our team, and we were top tier in this match. So that's not unexpected. But unfortunately, in these ships, that's the kind of game I get. All right, here in the port, taking a look at the upgrades. Aiming System Mod 1, I really don't recommend either. You don't have enough AA to justify this, and turret traverse isn't fast, but main battery accuracy is the most important thing for a ship with 8 gun barrels. So I would go with Aiming System Mod 1. Propulsion Mod 2, many of the Royal Navy ships don't even have access to that. And Concealment System Mod 1 for our upgrades. 2 charges of the regular smoke, 2 charges of the engine boost. And those are pretty ordinary. We're running the Common Battle Booster for speed. We got the Type 9 Permanent Camouflage. And the Canada Day 21 flag. Real talk, this ship shouldn't be in the game. It should have been the Haida introduced to the game. That's why I have the Canada flag for my close, longtime personal friend Baz Vegas. Oh, Canada, why don't you have a ship in World of Warships Legends? This shouldn't be the Cossack. It should be the Haida. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments. Here in the specs, 14,800 hit points. Got those 4 twin 120mm turrets, 11.1 kilometer firing range, 5-second reload, 18-second turn time. That's my breakover for a gunboat. So that's just on the edge. 1,700 max HE shell damage, 8% fire chance, 2,100 AP shell max damage. So it's not great. It's like a U.S. gunboat, but it's good enough for this ship. Torpedoes, 1 quad launcher, reload every 96 seconds, max damage 15,896, 8-kilometer range at 61 knots. The detectability is 1,300 meters. AA defense is terrible. I could see why in real life they removed a turret and added AA. But, this isn't going to do anything for you in the game. Maneuverability, 37.1 knots, 610 meter turning circle, 4-second rudder shift time. Nothing to write home about. 5.1 concealment on the surface, 2.8 from the air, 2.4 when firing from smoke. This is the only game I've ever played in the Cossack, 38. I don't know if I would choose this over the regular Cossack. I honestly don't. The regular Cossack has sonar. So maybe that's the only game I'll ever play. Nothing special in the armor viewer here. All right, taking a look at the commander, fully max Philip Vine. Base trait increases that incoming fire dispersion. These are meant to be played, in my opinion, in the mid-range. We got Bai and Shichang. I don't know if you know, but that's allegedly the new meta for destroyers. All right, row 1, quick fix, splash damage. Look at me now. Goes without saying. Perceptive and sidestep, some more incoming fire dispersion, and of course, unstoppable. All right, that's our first match in the Cossack 38. It may be our last match. Like, comment, subscribe below. Love to hear what you think about this ship. Thanks for watching.